She was just delivering pizza on a rainy Tuesday evening, the kind of night where the streets glistened slick and everyone just wanted their food and to be left alone. 28 years old, with long dark hair tucked hastily into a cap, gray hoodie pulled tight against the chill. Nothing about her screamed hero, just another young woman pushing a scooter with a stack of steaming boxes, weaving through detours and impatient cars honking behind her. But the thing no one could see, hidden beneath her sleeve and visible only when she shifted her arm just right, was the ghost unit scar, a jagged, intricate mark cutting through her skin like a secret code. Delivered in ink 5 years ago on a covert operation nobody outside a handful of military insiders ever heard about. To the neighborhood pizza place, she was just Mia, the quiet delivery girl who never said much and kept to herself. They laughed at her limp, a slight hitch in her step. No one knew the story behind that prosthetic leg hidden under her jeans, or the months she spent relearning to walk after a roadside bomb in Kandahar shattered her tibia. Everyone ignored her as she came in to collect the next order, until the colonel saw the ghost unit scar. It started with a group of regulars sitting in the back, a trio of men who thought they owned the place and loved nothing more than picking on the easy target. They noticed the hesitation when she walked in and the way she kept her delivery bag close, like a shield. One of them cracked a joke loud enough for half the restaurant to hear. "Hey, limp leg, you need a hand carrying all those boxes, or you carrying secrets with that scar?" The words landed with a cheap laughter that bounced off the tile walls. Mia didn't react. She just smiled politely and said nothing, delivering the pizzas with the same quiet dignity she carried everywhere she went. But they didn't stop. Another whispered, "What's that tattoo about, huh? A map to where you lost your leg, or some gang sign?" The men's laughter grew louder, their glares sharper, as if daring her to respond. She didn't flinch, didn't speak, didn't move faster than necessary. This was routine. Every day for 3 years she had delivered, been overlooked, dismissed, and sometimes mocked by strangers who had no idea who she really was. The restaurant's usual din dimmed as an older man in a well-worn military jacket shuffled closer. Colonel James Harker, retired but sharp-eyed, waiting for his order with the patience of a man used to precision. His gaze caught the faint outline of the scar creeping up Mia's forearm, partially covered by her sleeve. Something about its shape made his heart skip, a knot tightening when recognition dawned. The men's jeers reached a crescendo as one of them leaned in close, trapping her between the wall and a table leg, voice low but dripping with menace. "Why so quiet? Come on, don't be shy. Tell us your story, war hero." The coffee spilled hot across her lap, not by accident. Laughter erupted again, louder this time as if they'd won. But they didn't know that beneath her irritation, beneath the pain she swallowed, was a storm waiting to break. The colonel stood abruptly, his chair scraping harshly against the floor. His gaze fixed on the tattoo, now fully visible as Mia rolled her sleeve back just enough. The scar was unmistakable. It was the symbol of Operation Ember 2, a classified mission 5 years prior in eastern Afghanistan, involving a select team of Navy SEALs tasked with extracting civilians trapped behind enemy lines under constant fire. The insignia was known only to those who had been there and those who led them. The colonel coughed to clear his throat, and the room fell silent as he approached. "You don't have to take this. Do you know who she really is?" The men froze, confusion, maybe fear flickering in their eyes as the colonel lowered his voice, almost reverent. "That tattoo. It means she's Master Chief Mia Raven Walker. Every one of you laughed at a woman who saved 23 soldiers during that mission. 23 lives." The words rolled over the room, heavy, impossible to ignore. Nobody spoke for a heartbeat. Then came the shuffle of boots, sharp and determined, as 8 black SUVs pulled up outside with a quiet but undeniable authority. 12 Navy SEALs stepped inside, movements precise, uniforms immaculate, eyes cold and calculating. Their arrival was silent intimidation, power that couldn't be challenged. The young soldier sitting in the corner, the one who'd barely spoken all night, stood and approached Mia with a nod of respect. "Master Chief, you ready?" he asked quietly. She nodded once, a flicker of something fierce crossing her face. The men who had been mocking her now shifted uncomfortably, suddenly very aware that this wasn't the delivery girl they thought they could torment. This was something else entirely. The SEALs gathered around. The leader, Lieutenant Commander Carlton Graves, stepped forward. He recognized the scar immediately. Operation Ember 2, he said firmly. Master Chief Walker was the last one out. She threw herself on a grenade to shield her team, took the blast. She's the reason we kept fighting that day. 5 years ago, 300 yards from the forward base, under constant mortar fire. The story hung in the air like a challenge and a revelation all at once. Silence answered him, respect blooming where there had been mockery. The 3 men who had cornered Mia suddenly looked small, insignificant in the presence of someone whose courage had defined a mission, saved lives, and left scars not just seen, but deeply felt. One of the Navy SEALs saluted her first, breaking all protocol in a gesture that sent a wave of acknowledgement through the room. "You will apologize to Master Chief Raven," the colonel's voice was steel, "and you will understand the cost of your ignorance. This place is under our protection now." The message was clear, public, and permanent. The men had nothing to say. The entire restaurant had witnessed a quiet transformation. The delivery girl was no longer invisible. She was a testament to sacrifice and resilience. Mia's eyes glistened, but her voice was steady when she finally spoke. "I didn't come here looking for respect. I came here delivering pizza, but I'm not who you thought I was." And at that moment, in a small pizza joint on a rainy night, justice came calling, cloaked not in anger but in undeniable truth. The room felt heavier as the colonel's voice echoed, carrying the weight of unspoken battles and silent sacrifices. The 3 men who had mocked her earlier now sat frozen, their bravado gone, replaced by something much smaller, shock and shame. Mia drew a slow breath, steady despite the heat of the spilled coffee still marking her thigh. She glanced once at the gathered SEALs, their presence casting a protective shadow over her like the armor she'd worn in another life. Lieutenant Commander Carlton Graves approached, his voice low but steady, reverberating with a quiet authority as he continued the story no one had dared to tell. Master Chief Walker wasn't just a soldier, she was the backbone of Operation Ember 2. 5 years ago in eastern Afghanistan, under relentless enemy fire, she led a team through hostile territory to rescue trapped civilians. When a grenade landed among them, she threw herself on it, absorbing the blast. The injury cost her a leg but saved 23 lives. The survivors in the room absorbed every word like a sudden, bright light piercing through years of darkness. The sarcastic laughter felt like a distant memory now, replaced by the raw recognition of a hero's pain and courage. The colonel turned to the men who had been so quick to judge. "You will apologize to Master Chief Raven," he said with finality, eyes steely. "And you will remember what it means to stand in the shadow of real sacrifice." They nodded, voices barely a whisper as one man managed, "I'm sorry, I had no idea." It was a moment heavy with truth, the kind that transforms. Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle, the night suddenly still in a way that spoke volumes. Mia lifted her prosthetic leg slightly. The subtle mechanical were a calm reminder of battles fought both on and off the field. She looked at the colonel, and then at the SEAL standing at attention nearby. "I'm not here for thanks," she said quietly but firmly. "I deliver pizzas, that's it. But I deserve to be seen, not as someone broken, but as someone who kept fighting." Lieutenant Commander Graves stepped forward, his gaze steady. "None of us can choose the battles that land on our doorstep, but we stand with those who endure, who protect, who survive. Your family, Raven, always." The room, once a place of mockery and dismissal, now hummed with a reverence that carried beyond the walls of the small pizza joint. The customers, the delivery drivers, and even the staff who had witnessed the evening's upheaval were touched by a profound shift. Mia's story rippled silently through the air, a lesson in respect earned not by words but by actions remembered. The men who had mocked her, subdued and humbled, left without another word. The memory of their cruelty turned back upon them like a mirror. The SEALs filed out shortly after, their presence fading but the impact undeniable. They did not need applause or fanfare. Their return to duty was their acknowledgement of justice served. Mia lingered a moment longer, finger tracing the edge of the ghost unit scar now fully visible beneath her damp sleeve. It was a reminder etched in skin of courage under fire, of survival against odds, and of a silent promise kept to those who still needed her strength. As the last of the customers filtered out into the quiet street, Mia mounted her scooter again, the engine humming softly beneath the early morning mist. She drove away from the scene not as the timid delivery girl dismissed by strangers, but as Master Chief Mia Raven Walker, a warrior recognized and honored. Her story would live on in the eyes of those who had once doubted her, a beacon shining through the fog of ignorance. And for the first time in a long time, she felt the heavy weight of invisibility lift, replaced by the solid truth of who she was, a protector, a survivor, and a force no one could forget. In quiet moments afterward, Mia would reflect on the journey from that day forward, the days when mockery was met with silence, the nights spent balancing fear and hope, and the final reckoning that demanded respect. Her path was one few could walk, but now, in a small way, her world had shifted. From the shadows of forgotten sacrifice to the light of undeniable valor, she had reclaimed her story and with it, her dignity. The Colonel's words stayed with her, a solemn reminder etched deeper than any tattoo. You mocked a ghost, and she let you live long enough to regret it. And Mia knew, as the rain washed away footprints from the street, that some scars tell stories beyond pain. They tell of battles won quietly, and justice delivered faithfully, no matter the cost.